Hello, my name's Christian and I'm not wearing any trousers. Weren't things better in the 80s? I actually have no idea, I'm not old enough to remember that time period, but for the purposes of this video I'm saying things were better, and here's why. During the period of time between 1975 and 1990, movies peaked. This is not a debate, I'm not offering an opinion. Movies have literally never been as good as they were in the 80s. This isn't to say that good movies are not made today, or even that better movies aren't made. You are perfectly entitled to enjoy Iron Man more than Ghostbusters, and I personally have never particularly seen the appeal of Star Wars. I'd much rather watch Lord of the Rings, even if I do have to set aside an entire day to actually do that. But none of that changes what I'm saying. In short, movies used to be movies. They weren't better when they were books, they weren't the death throes of a TV series, they weren't pitiful fan service remakes made by talentless cretins, they were movies. If you haven't cottoned on to what I'm saying yet, it's that, surprising as it may seem, movies used to be made from original ideas. I know, shocking, isn't it? Not just that, but these movies used to spawn their own franchises, branching out into TV shows and books and pitiful fan service remakes made by talentless cretins. Movies of this time period were capable of creating franchises, whilst movies today seem to be viewed as more of an endgame for existing franchises. Movies are something that books and plays and TV shows get to have if they're good enough. This ironically labelling movies at the top of the food chain, while simultaneously robbing movies of their significance and importance. Movies no longer matter. They're just a thing that eventually happens to a good idea, rather than actually being a good idea themselves. Seriously, when was the last time a movie spawned a franchise that wasn't a tasteless gore fest? Maybe The Matrix, but that was in '99, and I suspect someone with a deeper knowledge of anime might debate the originality on that one. More recently, maybe Shrek, but that's a pretty weak argument. Come on, offer some suggestions. I would honestly love to be wrong about this. Name any movie based on an entirely original concept that has spawned at least one other medium, be it a book, TV series, I could even give you a video game. Even the pioneers of the 80s haven't got it in them anymore. At some point, it feels like it was decided that movies weren't allowed to be made from original ideas anymore, and thus no truly great movies are ever made. Like I say, movies seem to have this air of superiority. If your idea is good enough, then eventually it gets a movie studio wanting to cash in on your success somehow being viewed as a compliment. And maybe they earned that in the 80s, but nearly 25 years later, and I don't think they deserve to hold that title anymore. To be clear, before I finish, I'm talking about original movies that have spawned sequels and material in other mediums, even if it's just a video game. Sequels optional. E.T. doesn't have a sequel, but it still spawned a novelization and a video game. Brainstorming right now, a couple of animated options come up, but only as long as we allow the minimum requirement of spawning their own video game. And even with these options, it's still pretty thin on the ground, especially by comparison. Okay, so there we have it. Movies. Not that great. This isn't to say, you can still love me. I'm not saying there aren't great movies made or aren't good movies made today, but they used to be better. They used to be something. You know what I mean? I hope I've made my point. If you want to disagree or comment or make, tell me, give me hope that there are still franchise movies properly made. The movies still matter. It's got very dark, Rothen. Then use the comments below to instill hope in this world. I hope that gave you something to think about. I hope that was interesting. Do like and subscribe to the channel and all that stuff. Check out my other videos. Go to Flitter Films. Blah blah blah. You know all that. I'm saying at the end of everything, but I feel like I have to. Yes, no. Please do share this video. I'll catch you in the next one. The end.